Hey guys, what is up? It is the Fast Break Report here, bringing you guys another vlog. So, real quick, I'm still sick. I'm feeling a little better today, but it's my voice is screwed up because I'm taking steroids and stuff for a medical condition, and so I still got a cough going on and stuff like that. But I'm gonna try to get through this video because I think it's important. I wanted to talk about the Los Angeles Lakers. Mostly because they're a team I haven't talked about in a while. And they're literally a team that is one trade away from being a championship contender again. And the reason I say that is because there is one trade that could put them back in the conversation to be a championship contender. And I've been seeing a lot of speculation about the Lakers, being that they're playing very well right now. LeBron's playing out of his mind. I did say that LeBron is not enough to backpack this team to the playoffs, and it's not. But I think LeBron is good enough to backpack this team until Anthony Davis gets back, and so far he has proven that he is able to do that. He's maybe 10 games away from passing 10 or 11 games from passing Kareem Abdul-Jabbar on the all-time scoring list. LeBron's playing out of his mind. And I look at this roster, Lonnie Walker has been a very nice addition for them. Wenyen Gabriel has been a nice addition for them. Bringing back Dennis Schroeder, I think, was huge for them. They still have Patrick Beverley on the roster, who's a guy that could probably get traded. But really what I want to talk about here is a Russell Westbrook trade. Because at this point, we kind of understand, what teams are really good and what teams are really bad. And then you got the teams in the middle right now that it's we still have to figure out, who's going to be where. It's still a toss-up for the teams in the middle. But at this point, it's decided. The teams that are going to be really good are really good, and the teams that are really bad are really bad. And one team in particular that really catches my eye, and I'm sure it catches Rob Pelinka's eye, is the San Antonio Spurs. And the reason I say the San Antonio Spurs is mostly because every other team that is tanking right now, either tanking or just, not playing well, has a bunch of guys on their roster that they're simply not going to trade for Russell Westbrook. Let's just be honest, and not only that, but a lot of those teams don't even have the cap space to make it work. I saw JJ Redick talking about the Lakers trading for Bojan Bogdanovic. And yeah, he's a very good player, but he's making $20 million a year, and he's 34 years old. I just don't think longevity-wise that's great for the Lakers. So long as LeBron is there, the Lakers are going to try to be competitive. And, paying a Bojan Bogdanovic, who's a great player, but, is on the better side of 30, you have to ask yourself, do you really want to trade your first-round pick and maybe Russell Westbrook, if you can, to get a guy who it's you don't know how good he's going to continue to be? He's been very good this year, but it's after 35, you get into 36, 37, and players start falling off a cliff. So I don't like Bojan Bogdanovic at all. Actually, he's playing very well. I just don't think he fits what the Lakers are trying to do. I don't think he fits their 2 to 3 year timeline. I just don't. I also think he does a little more than you really want out of a small forward or a sixth man. I don't like the contract. I don't like what they would have to trade to get him. I also think that they can get a better haul for Russell Westbrook than they would get from the Pistons. The Pistons would have to give up Bojan Bogdanovic and maybe a guy like Nerlens Noel, Nerlens Noel's not bad, but I just think you can get something better from the Spurs. So that's why I don't think Detroit does it. Next is the Charlotte Hornets. Charlotte Hornets are not even in the fucking conversation. Unless they want to trade Russell Westbrook for Gordon Hayward, and Gordon Hayward's another guy who just has a ridiculous contract. You're lucky if he plays. I just don't think you need that. Yes, Gordon Hayward would be a nice addition to the Lakers, but it's you have to worry if he's going to play. When he does play, he's very good, but he's also on a very shitty contract. And, if you're the Lakers, you don't want to be in another situation where it's you're taking on Gordon Hayward, and I think next year he's making $30 million again, or close to it. So it's you don't really want that either. You want to have some flexibility for next season if somebody falls off a cliff. So that's why I don't think they're going to do it. Houston has so many young guys that I think Houston's just going to like, unless you want Eric Gordon, and I don't think the Lakers do. Eric Gordon is only shooting 34% from 3 this year and 42% from the field. Someone might trade for Eric Gordon. I just don't think it's going to be the Lakers. Eric Gordon's one of those guys that I think his better days are behind him. So that's just where I'm at on Eric Gordon. But the Spurs are in a unique situation. The Spurs have 3 guys that... Excuse me. The Spurs have 3 guys that I think really make sense for the Lakers. And those 3 guys are Jakob Poeltl, Doug McDermott, and Josh Richardson. We know the Spurs are going to be crap. Okay, they're one of the worst teams in basketball at the moment. They're tanking for Wemby. Okay, and they have a bunch of guys on their roster they're looking to unload. I don't see why they'd be against unloading Doug McDermott. I don't see why they'd be against unloading Josh Richardson. And Jakob Poeltl is literally on the Athletics trade deadline big board at the moment. And I just think if you're the Spurs and you're really looking to, buy a ticket on the Titanic, so to speak, you could trade all 3 of those players to the Lakers for Russell Westbrook, and the Lakers are probably going to have to give up that 2027 first-round pick, unprotected, and maybe even the 2025. Maybe the Lakers are able to work something out with the Spurs where there's a pick swap or they give them their 2023. I don't know. Like, I don't know what the second pick would look like, but I will say this. The Spurs are in a situation where they could just buy Russell Westbrook out and say, hey, leave us the fuck alone. And then let Russell Westbrook go sign someplace else. They get rid of Jakob Poeltl, they get rid of Doug McDermott, they get rid of Josh Richardson. They're in full tank mode, okay? And at this point, it doesn't make sense for them not to be, right? Like, they're and not only that, but on top of that, like, you can just say, like, the Spurs can't get, The Spurs can't really get in trouble for intentional tanking when, like, you trade away your 3 best players for a guy that sucks. Unless you keep Russell Westbrook on your roster until the end of the year, which is not really a big deal, and you just let him ride the bench. Or maybe you let him play, and maybe, I don't know, somehow your team plays worse. I don't know, but Russell Westbrook's pretty good on teams when he's only by himself. So Russell Westbrook's one of those guys that I feel like they may just, like, send him home or buy him out. In that situation, I almost think the Spurs would have to buy him out, because then the league office would be like, well, why aren't you playing Russell Westbrook? So I don't know. I just think that's what could happen there. But the reason I like this for the Lakers is because A, they get another big man, and Jakob Poeltl's averaging like 12 and 9 a game right now on 63% from the field. He's a very, very decent big man, and he's only 27. So that's the first reason I like this. Second reason I like this is because Doug McDermott is shooting 41% from 3 this year. He's just getting buckets, averaging like 10 points a game or whatever. And if you're the Lakers, you need 3-point shooting. Like, the Lakers are last in the NBA right now in 3-pointers made. And they're 26th in the NBA in 3-point percentage. And Josh Richardson and Doug McDermott both provide 3-point shooting. Right now, Josh Richardson shooting about 36% from 3, 86% from the free throw line, and I think 44% from the field, which isn't bad. He's a solid defender. He can shoot the 3. He's a great free throw shooter. He's averaging about a steal a game, so he's a solid defender. And Doug McDermott is just a sniper. He's shooting 41% from 3. He's also, like, one reason I like Doug McDermott more than Bojan Bogdanovic is because he's 31. He's still got some burn left in him, where Bojan is 34. And not only that, but Doug McDermott has a cheaper contract. Like, he's making $13.7 million this year, and he's making $13.7 million next year. So the salary cap doesn't change. And it gives you a lot more flexibility for next year than it does, trading for a guy like Gordon Hayward, who it's like you're hoping teams want him. The Hornets could offer a package of, like, maybe Terry Rozier and a guy like Kelly Oubre or something like that. But then I think to myself, it's like, Terry Rozier's not a guy you really need. If you took on Terry Rozier, who's still got a bad contract, like, that's the one thing I also like about this trade is there's no bad contracts for either team here, right? Like, the Spurs are tanking. They're getting Westbrook, who's making $47 million, and then after like the second half of this year, you never have to see him again. And on top of it, for the Lakers, it's like you get a bunch of guys that are on good contracts. They're on the younger side of 30, and they're all really good at what they do. And that's what the Lakers need. They need depth. They need a center. Getting Dennis Schroeder back was huge, but now also it's like, you could maybe trade Patrick Beverley for somebody if somebody's willing to take him. Maybe you get younger at that point guard position, or maybe get a better defender or a playmaker or something at point. I don't really know what a trade for Patrick Beverley looks like because he's been, kind of bad, but it's just the idea, man. The Lakers could come out with a roster of like a starting five of, what do we got, Dennis Schroeder or Austin Reeves, one of the two. You could have Josh Richardson out there, LeBron, Doug McDermott, LeBron, and Anthony Davis. Or you could have a starting five of, Dennis Schroeder, Lonnie Walker. You could put Josh Richardson at the 3, or Doug McDermott, or even LeBron at the 3. Play Anthony Davis, and like maybe at the 5 you can have a guy like Jakob Poeltl. Like Jakob Poeltl, I'm pretty sure would start for them. I know that their 3 through 5, like 3 through 5 would probably be LeBron, AD, and Jakob Poeltl. I would find it hard to not be that. And then the 1 and 2, you have so much flexibility. Like, you could play Lonnie Walker there. You could play Josh Richardson there. You could play Doug McDermott there at the 2. Like, there's so many guys that could play at the 2. And at the 1, even if you kept Patrick Beverley, you have Patrick Beverley, you have Dennis Schroeder, Austin Reeves. Like, they've got that. At that point, it gives them a lot of flexibility. So for me, I think that's the most likely trade for the Lakers. That's the trade that makes the most sense. And on top of it, like, the Spurs are the one team that I feel like would have no problem with doing this. The other teams have guys that I think they don't want to give up that the Lakers are going to ask for. And if you're the Lakers, like, you also want guys with a little bit of experience. You know what I'm saying? And Jakob Poeltl offers that. Doug McDermott offers that. And so does Josh Richardson. So I don't know, man. We'll have to wait and see what happens, but this is just what I think. I think this trade easily puts the Lakers back in the playoff hunt, especially with how good AD was playing before he got injured, and if LeBron keeps playing the way that he's playing, you put some shooters around him, man, and suddenly, like, the Lakers might be back in contention talks. They're playing defense better this year. They're defending the 3 a lot better. So I don't know, man. I think this is a trade that, like, this to me is the all-in trade for the Lakers. Like, if they're going to do an all-in move, to me, this is it. So tell me what you guys think about this down below in the comment section below. A like helps me out. Subscribe if you guys want to see more on the Fast Break Report. And I'm out of this motherfucker. Peace, guys.